Macron and Merz step up nuclear cooperation. Medvedev launches sharp attack on Trump over conflict with Iran. And how wars can be fought forever. Trump claims US holds nearly unlimited weapons stockpiles. The latest news next. Deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, made a series of provocative statements regarding the war the United States and Israel are allegedly waging against Iran. He once again threatened humanity with a third world war, called the United States and its allies pigs, and described Europe's response as sycophancy and filth. The so-called third non-president of Russia criticized Trump's course and accused the US of escalating tensions. His remarks were cited by Russian state-aligned media outlets. Medvedev stated that a third world war has not yet begun, but could start at any moment if Donald Trump continues his mad course of regime change.
Formally, the Third World War has not started yet. But if Trump continues his mad course of criminal regime change, it will undoubtedly begin. And the trigger could be any event. Any event.
He described the operation in Iran as a war by the United States and its allies to maintain global dominance. The former non-president of Russia said, "This is a war by the US and its allies to preserve global dominance."
The fact that the Iranians have not responded too seriously yet means they don't have many options. But they know how to wait. This is an ancient civilization.
Pigs do not want to part with the trough. According to Medvedev, Iran will inevitably respond to the United States and Israel. Medvedev believes that Trump is making a gross mistake that has placed all Americans under potential threat. He claimed that Iran will now allegedly seek to develop nuclear weapons with triple the power. Medvedev also referred to the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei as the spiritual father of nearly 300 million Shia, asserting that his death consolidates this religious community, as Khamenei has now also become a martyr. In addition, in his characteristic rhetorical style, the former Russian official commented on Europe's reaction to US and Israel actions in Iran.
Sycophancy and filth. European vassals greedily and enthusiastically wiped their faces after receiving a portion of American-Israeli yellow dew right in the eyes.
The United States and Israel have not yet commented on the statements made by the deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council. US President Donald Trump said his country possesses virtually unlimited weapons stockpiles that would allow Washington to wage wars forever, Trump reports. According to Trump, US medium and upper middle class ammunition stockpiles have never been higher or better than they are now.
As was stated to me today, we have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever and very successfully using just these supplies, which are better than other countries' finest arms.
He added that when it comes to top-level ammunition, the United States also has a good supply. However, they are not where Washington would like them to be. Much additional high-grade weaponry is stored for us in outlying countries, the president explained. At the same time, Trump once again accused former leader Joe Biden of helping and giving weapons to Ukraine for free.
Sleepy Joe Biden spent all of his time and our country's money giving everything to Zelenskyy of Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars worth. And while he gave so much of the super high-end away free, he didn't bother to replace it.
Summing up, Trump praised himself, stating that fortunately he rebuilt the US military during his first term and continues to do so now. The United States is stocked and ready to win big, Trump concluded. The United States is preparing for a significant escalation of attacks on Iran within the next 24 hours, CNN reports. According to a senior US official, Washington has weakened Iran's defenses and now intends to move on to the next stage. The US has assessed that the first round of attacks has achieved the goal of weakening Iranian defenses, and the next phase will heavily focus on destroying the country's missile production, unmanned aerial vehicles, and naval capability, the official says. The source adds that missile stocks are running low, especially Tomahawk missiles for striking round targets and SM-3 interceptor missiles. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said in an interview with Bloomberg that Ukraine could help Middle Eastern countries destroy Iranian Shahed drones if Arab leaders persuade Moscow to agree to a ceasefire.
I would suggest the following. Leaders of the Middle East have great relations with the Russians. They can ask Russians to implement a month-long ceasefire.
According to him, once a ceasefire is in place, Ukraine would send its best operators of drone interceptors to the Middle East countries. The president specified that the ceasefire could also be declared for 2 months or even 2 weeks so that Ukraine can help the Middle East countries to protect civilians. Zelenskyy added that the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia and Qatar undoubtedly maintain good economic relations with Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. We can help Israel in the same way, the president assured. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff said that Iran boasted during negotiations that it has enough enriched uranium to build 11 nuclear bombs, the Times of Israel reports. According to Witkoff, Iran's effective admission came during the first round of negotiations earlier this year.
In that first meeting, both the Iranian negotiators said to us directly, with no shame, that they controlled 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, and that they're aware that could make 11 nuclear bombs.
Envoy added that Iranian negotiators were proud that they had evaded all sorts of oversight protocols to get to a place where they could deliver 11 nuclear bombs. According to Witkoff, during that first meeting, Iranians also boasted of having an inalienable right to enrich nuclear fuel.
We responded that the president, Trump and Eduardo, feels we have the inalienable right to stop you dead in your tracks. Jared and I just sort of looked at ourselves flummoxed and said, we're really in for it now.
Based on Witkoff's words, Trump sent him and Jared Kushner to negotiations to reach an agreement under which Tehran would agree to eliminate its missile program, stop supporting proxy states, dismantle its naval fleet, so we can have freedom of the seas and stop enriching uranium. However, already during the second round of negotiations, it became clear that there would be no result. The third round was the last attempt.
We went in there and tried to make a fair deal with them. And it was very, very clear that it was going to be impossible, probably by the end of the second meeting. But we then went back for the third meeting, just to give it the last college try. They wanted us to report positivity. It was not positive, that meeting.
The main task of the United States concerning Iran is to ensure that Tehran never acquires nuclear weapons, according to U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance.
Trump was looking for Iran to make a significant long-term commitment that they would never build a nuclear weapon, that they would not pursue the ability to be on the brink of a nuclear weapon. He wanted to make sure that Iran could never have a nuclear weapon, and that would require fundamentally a change in mindset from the Iranian regime.
He also stresses that Iranian nuclear facilities were created not only for peaceful uranium enrichment, as the authorities in Tehran claim, but also for the purpose of developing nuclear weapons. At the same time, the vice president emphasizes that there is no question of a prolonged military operation.
There's just no way that Donald Trump is going to allow this country to get into a multi-year conflict with no clear end in sight and no clear objective.
Qatar and the United Arab Emirates want to achieve a swift end to the US and Israel's war with Iran, according to Bloomberg. Sources told the outlet that Qatar and the UAE are lobbying allies to convince Trump to find a way out. The two countries aim to prevent further escalation and a prolonged price shock in energy markets. According to Bloomberg, the prospect of a multi-week regional war is a nightmare scenario for US allies in the Persian Gulf, such as the UAE, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Gulf states fear that the chaos and disruption to air travel currently unfolding could hit their economies and scare off tourists as well as foreign investors. After the war began, Qatar Energy halted production of liquefied natural gas at the world's largest export facility following military attacks, and operations were suspended at Saudi Arabia's largest refinery after a drone strike. Fuel prices have surged on global markets and stocks have plummeted. France and Germany have agreed to work together on nuclear deterrence and have created a special group for this purpose, says German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. According to Merz, the initiative belongs to him and French President Emmanuel Macron. The German Chancellor added that both countries plan to take concrete steps.
Emmanuel Macron and I have established a nuclear steering group in which we coordinate on deterrence issues. We intend to take concrete steps before the end of this year, including conventional German participation in French nuclear exercises.
President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy mocked Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban over his statements regarding the condition of the Druzhba oil pipeline, according to Zelensky's statements during the press conference.
You can see the technical tanks from a satellite. One large tank is ruptured. That's what you can see. You won't see the control room from a satellite. Maybe Orban is some kind of magician who managed to see the condition of the pipeline underground from space. I'm surprised, but nonetheless, anything can happen. Nonetheless,
Zelenskyy also commented on Hungary's and Slovakia's demands to restore the Druzhba pipeline. He emphasized that the cost of such a restoration would be the lives of Ukrainians, as the Russian forces repeatedly strike energy facilities.
has anyone heard from Orban or Fico, Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, that they are very grateful to Ukraine or feel sorry for the families, relatives, and loved ones who suffered? Not a single word, other than the fact that we supposedly owe them again.
About invitation for Fico to Ukraine, the president of Ukraine confirmed that Fico has agreed to a personal meeting and added that he expects the Slovak Prime Minister to visit Ukraine.
Our team proposed dates for the meeting from March 6th to 9th. Choose a date. We heard the media feedback. Let's meet in some other country. In which country am I supposed to meet Fico? Where is the Druzhba pipeline? In Ukraine. I invited him. He confirmed he will come. Welcome.
That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.